scooping way up and makes that. Scores now 68-38, up to a 30-point lead again. Hacker attempts a long three-pointer from almost dead on and bounces that wide. Eagles ball. Wagner again pressing in the backcourt. Schultz drives through, tries to put in a layup, but loses control a little bit driving through the lane. No foul is called and misses that pretty badly. Rebounded by KMS. Hacker takes a long three-pointer again. She's a little bit off on those. Misses that. Gets out to Wagner. Wagner moving that ball around. Trying to find somebody to take the ball. As they look to find somebody open to take a shot. 1 second left on the shot clock, and Finstrom eventually took a shot but isn't able to make it. Misses the basket pretty bad. Goes out of bounds, Eagles ball. Kuechly brings the ball up the floor, passes it up ahead to Schultz. To Ballard, to Schultz, to Ballard. The wing again to Schultz. Schultz drives into the lane, attempts to pass it to Groth. It's off the legs of Otto and picked up by KMS, where it's being brought the other way. 6.5 minutes left to go in the game. Ball passed down low into the post for KMS. They look to do a layup attempt that misses, but on the rebounding attempt it's knocked out of bounds by the Eagles, so it is now Saints ball. Passed in up to the wing. Wagner takes a long three. It's off the backboard, misses the rim. And now Ballard gets the rebound and looks to pass it up. Who gets it to Kuechly, who drives the lane. It looks like she was fouled pretty bad on the first layup attempt, but she rebounds it and attempts to go up again and is fouled by number 4, Finstrom. That's her 4th foul. Silas will come back into the game and relieve Finstrom. Kuechly now to pass the ball in. Foul was on a passing attempt, not on a shot. She gets it up to the point to Ballard. Kuechly now for her shot, and that one she was not quite on. She missed that one a little bit long. Rebounded by KMS. Wagner managed, she comes across the half by Schultz. And Schultz is called on a foul she kind of went through her body to get to the ball. And that's her 4th foul. It's now the 9th team foul. So the KMS is shooting in the bonus. So Wagner shoots the first. Drains that. And she'll line up for the second shot here. That one is a little bit long and bounces straight back, rebounded by Kuechly, who brings the ball up the floor where she's challenged the whole way by Wagner. Kuechly to Schultz, down to Groth, who goes to lay it up, but it's tipped a little bit on that shot attempt by, I believe it was Otto, and rebounded by the Saints. Moving the ball around, Hacker looks to drive through the center of the key, and she is fouled there by Miley Kuechly. I believe that is her 2nd one. So as Hacker lines up to shoot 2 here now in the double bonus, I have an inspirational quote for today. This is by Neil Gaiman, who's an author. It says, "I hope that in this year to come," because we're just into the new year here, "I hope that in this year to come you make mistakes. Because if you are making mistakes, then you are making new things, trying new things, learning, living, pushing yourself, changing your world. You're doing things you've never done before, and more importantly, you're doing something. So I wish everyone the best in this new year. May you find new adventure, new opportunities, and I like that. Making mistakes, we try to stop ourselves a lot of time from making mistakes, but making mistakes is often a big part of learning. As you're watching these girls play, we've seen, say that double dribble by one of the Eagles players, or a few different, misplays, and you see the girls quite quickly, or any player for that matter. They don't make a lot of those mistakes multiple times. They learn from them and learn to pay attention a little bit to what they're doing and grow in what they're doing. And it's really fun to watch people learn. And some of that's learned from mistakes. My son is a 9th grade basketball player, plays the C squad we watched earlier today, and we've been working with him a little bit on boxing out some different things. And I watched today as he got a few rebounds in the past he might not get, learning to box out and do things, and the more he plays, the better he gets at those things. So it's good to watch. We had a foul on the rebound there, but because of the bonus, KMS is able to get 2 free throw attempts there, which they make both of them. Ballard tries to pass it into Hushley, who loses control of the ball, and is picked up by Hacker to Wagner for the fast break layup. Now scores now 75 to 38. I'm not entirely sure why, but they would travel by Hushley there. I'm not entirely sure why. Here we're 4.5 minutes left to go in the game. The score is 75 to 38. And KMS is maybe now just looking to take some of the players off the bench and put them in. I'm not sure if his goal was to run the score up as high as he could or what, but that's what they're up to. Wagner's still running around, knocking into players and fighting over loose balls, and it seems to me with that bump and hit to her leg earlier that that coach, Justin Johnson, would be wanting to protect her a little bit. But finally, they bring some of the starters out and bring a lot of the bench out onto the floor. So not entirely sure why Justin was looking to I don't know if he's trying to drive the score up, like I said, or get his team some practice, but scores now 75 to 38. Pass and attempt to Hearing, who's able to drain a three-pointer. Maybe that's why. He just doesn't trust his bench. KMS is looking to bring the ball up the floor. They've got number 12, Vanessa Olson, who's a freshman. Number 20, Emily Finstrom, who's a freshman. Number 22, Kenzie Danielson, who's also a freshman. And then they're complemented by Brooke Johnson, who's a sophomore. And trying to see the numbers moving around here. And Kayla Finstrom, who is a junior, but they only had 4 bench players, so we got to have somebody out there. And that Finstrom drives it in for a layup and scores that one. Scores now 77 to 41. 2.5 minutes left in the game as Stummis brings the ball up across half. There's a shot attempt there by the Eagles that rims in and out. Right now in for the Eagles, you got Addie Stummis. You've got Jordan Schutz. You got Hearing still in the game, Laura Hearing. And you've got Emily Kramer still in the game, so that's 3 players in Stummis, Hearing, and Kramer who have been in the game quite a bit. And then you have the additions of Jordan Schutz, who's a freshman, and Sophia Hushley, who's a sophomore. Wrestle of the ball between Hearing and Johnson, and it's called jump ball, and it's KMS ball. KMS to pass it in, and Johnson gets a pretty open look at a layup, which she is a hit. Score is 79-42. Stummis brings the ball up the floor. Passes it off to Schutz. Back to Stummis. All the way across the court to Schutz. To Kramer down low. Who passes it into Hearing, who's able to get the left-handed layup to fall. Less than a minute left in the game here. As KMS brings the ball up the floor. Johnson takes a three-pointer that she makes. Eagles bring the ball back up the floor. Looking to get maybe one or two more shots in here. They've got 24 seconds on the shot clock, 32 seconds left in the game. Schutz drives baseline, kicks it out to Stummis, who takes a three-point shot. That one she drains. She'd been a little bit off on that three-pointer, and that one she hits. 18 seconds left to go in the game as KMS brings the ball up across the floor. Moving that ball around. Johnson thinks about taking another three-pointed shot here. And ball is being passed around. 4 seconds left to go in the game. 2, 1, as KMS will dribble the ball out. And that is the game. The final score of this game is the KMS Fighting Saints 82 and the EVW Eagles 47. That was a tough game, hard-fought game, but they didn't have a lot of answers for Wagner and Hacker of the Saints, and they were able to get quite a bit of what they wanted during that game. And so hopefully the Saints are able to do a little bit better the Eagles are able to do a little bit better the next time out. But that is the score of this game. In about, I believe it's going to be 10 to 20 minutes here, we're going to have another game here with the boys playing ACGC. This will be the men's basketball, the Eagles versus ACGC. So tune back into YouTube here. I think they're going to put 20 minutes on the clock, do warm-ups, put 20 minutes on the clock, and that will be your men's basketball game coming up here in 20 minutes. Sorry, there's a little distraction on the court there, and I lost track of what I was saying. I apologize. Again, thank you for joining us for Eagles women's basketball. Join us in 20 minutes for men's basketball, and otherwise we'll see you again in the future. Well, good evening and welcome to Eagles basketball. My name is Mike, and we're getting ready here to tip off between your Eden Valley Watkins Eagles and the ACGC Jaguars. We're going to have the starting lineups here, and we'll let the in-house announcer take care of that. I think they're showing the fifth grade boys for whatever reason here, and so they're just going to run through those guys. They'll play at the halftime. All right, Falcons starting lineup now. We have 6-foot senior Oliver Westman, 5'9" junior Blake Buer, 6'1" senior Micah Morrison, 6'2" senior Gage Degner, and lastly 6'6" senior Dayton Buer. Braden Becker is a senior. Number 3, junior guard Caleb DeRose. Number 11, 5'11" guard Matt Hearing. Oh, sorry, my apologies. Bryce Neiman is who I meant to call there. And then we have 6'3" forward senior Preston Langer. And lastly, 6'4" junior forward Tate Craft. The Eagles in their blues, and the Jaguars in their whites. All right, we're going to have senior Dayton Buer going against sophomore Tate Craft. And that is won by the Eagles. Neiman has the ball up at the point, moving the ball around here. Gives it to Langer. Langer down to the corner. To Becker, who takes a three, comes up just a little short. Bounces straight up and rebounded by the Jaguars. Blake Buer brings the ball up. Passes it down to the post for the Jaguars. Back up to the point. Driving through the lane, Dayton Buer, who comes with a short jumper from the block, where he is fouled by Kraft. Buer will be shooting two, as he missed on the shot attempt. Drains the first. Misses the second attempt, rebounded though by the Jaguars. Misses on that short jumper and rebounded by Caleb DeRose. The Eagles moving the ball around here. Neiman to DeRose in the corner. DeRose drives down the lane, blows up, is able to lay it in where he is fouled. It is number 3, Caleb DeRose, who is last week's Conference Player of the Week after a 35-point performance against Swanville. DeRose makes his free throw, turning that into a 3-point play. Jaguars try to bring the ball up the floor. They're kind of half-pressed there by the Eagles, where the pass attempt going forward was tipped by Neiman. Neiman goes to drive around on the baseline, and he is fouled by 23 of the Jaguars. It's Morrison. Neiman passes the ball in up to DeRose up on the point. DeRose looking to set up the offense to Neiman, drops it down low to Langer, who passes the ball across to Becker to DeRose. DeRose moving that ball around, passes into the post to Kraft now. He's guarded by Buer, back out to DeRose. But Kraft is fouled as he's passing it away. It's a third team foul. That was on Dayton Buer. Ball is passed around to Neiman, who takes a long three-pointer. It's a little bit flat. Kraft is able to rebound it and lay it in left-handed after that. Brings the Eagles 5-1 lead here. Jaguars looking to get the ball moving here. Buer drives on the lane and kicks it off to Gage Degner, who's able to lay it in. Scores 5-3. Caleb DeRose brings the ball up the floor. Gives it to Neiman on the wing. Neiman looking to get something up. Passes it out to Langer, who passes it to Neiman, who drives down in the lane. There's a bit of a bobbling going on between Eagles and the Jaguars, and eventually Jaguars put the ball out of bounds, so it's going to be Eagles ball on the baseline. Neiman takes the ball, passes it into Kraft, back to Neiman, to DeRose. DeRose goes up where he's blocked by Buer. Becker drives in and misses that layup attempt and rebounded by the Jaguars. Kraft looked like he was going up for a rebound there as well, and came down, had his legs somehow knocked out from underneath him. Man, he came down hard, but looks like he's okay after that fall, but it looked a little scary from here for a second. Jaguars on the inbound play have passed the ball into Degner, and as he's moving around on the post, he travels. So now it's Eagles ball, taking the ball to the floor is Neiman. Neiman brings it up, passes it to Becker, to DeRose in the corner, who drains the three-pointer. 8-3 lead for the Eagles. They trap Viewer up by the half court, and he is pressured there by the Eagles, trapped, and as he tries to pass the ball in, it ends up out of bounds, the Eagles ball. Neiman brings the ball up the floor. Over to Becker, to DeRose in the corner, who takes another corner three, and drains that as well. So far, DeRose is looking really good as far as the shooting goes. It's 2 for 2 on his 3-point attempts. Layup attempt by Degner that comes up a little bit short, rebounded by the Eagles. Becker brings the ball up the floor to Langer. Now around to Becker, who drives right through the lane, slashes through, and the reverse right-handed layup. Brings us lead up to 10 points for the Eagles, 13-3. The Eagles looking sharp here in the early going. Keeping pressure on the Jaguars here. Layup attempt by Morrison misses, bobbles around, and then eventually ends up in a Jaguars hand. On the bounce pass attempt to the post by the Jaguars, Caleb DeRose is able to steal that pass and rush it up the floor. Passes it into Kraft in the post to DeRose, back in the wing. Over to Becker, who takes a 3-point attempt that's a little short, rebounded by the Jaguars. Jaguars looking to get something going here. Both sets of fans are cheering pretty loud about defense here. As you can hear, probably through my mic or the camera's mics. Shot attempt by Westman, comes up short, rebounded by the Eagles. DeRose drives down, loses the handle on the ball. Picked up by the Jaguars, but as DeRose was chasing the ball that he lost, he bumped into the Jaguars player, and they call a foul on the floor to him. They bring Hearing and Hiltner into the game. Set down Becker and Langer. Bringing an ACGC player in as well. And we move the ball up the floor here. ACGC drives down the lane. And Westman is able to lay it in, and he's fouled on the attempt. And I want to apologize for some reason. I've been calling them the Jaguars this whole time. That was our game the other day against BBE was the Jaguars. And I had the paper sitting right here earlier, and I was looking at it from last game and had Jaguars in my head. It is the ACGC Falcons. Makes that free throw attempt, so it's now 13-6. As Hearing brings the ball up the floor. DeRose from the other corner runs in and out and drops. That's now 3 threes in a row for DeRose. I believe by the NBA Jam rules, which is Joe, who is Caleb's dad. When I'm not calling these basketball games, it's often Caleb's dad, Joe, calling these games. And he loves to go by the NBA Jam rules. And if you hit 3, shots in a row, you're therefore on fire. So I'm expecting the next shot by Caleb to burn the net up. Actually, DeRose is driving here, and as he goes up for the layup, he was fouled pretty hard, so he'll get 2 foul shot attempts here. First, hits the back of the rim and comes out. I'll have to ask Joe later if free throws count as part of that on fire rule in NBA Jam. But here's DeRose, makes the second of those 2 free throws. Score is now 17-6 as the Falcons coach calls a timeout here. Speaking of which, the head coach of the Falcons is Terry Miller, and he's assisted by Dave Zeiska and John Cunningham. And the head coach for your Eagles is, of course, Jacob Anderson, and he's assisted by Adam Langer and Josh Street. And then in the lower levels are coached by Dave Zingle and Sam Orline. The 30-second timeout here. Eagles and everyone back on the floor. So we still have Hearing, Kraft, Hiltner, DeRose, and Hearing out on the floor. Sorry, Neiman and Hearing on the floor. We have a travel there by ACGC on the drive attempt. So now Hearing will pass into Neiman. Neiman passes back to Hearing across the half here. Swinging that ball around down to DeRose in the corner. He drops it into Kraft in the post. And then to DeRose, who takes another three-point shot. That is his fourth three-pointer made for DeRose. I think he really is on fire over here. Layup attempt by the Falcons. I keep wanting to say Jaguars now, by the Falcons. Is a little bit strong. Pass from Hearing into Hiltner, who lays that in. Falcons back the other way. Moving that ball around. Pass it into the post. Draw pass to a cutting guard, David Jorgensen. And on his layup attempt, he's fouled for 2 shots here. Looks like Becker will come back in the game here. First shot is made. Becker comes in the game, is going to give DeRose a breather. And he makes the second of his 2 free throw attempts. Score is 22-8 for your Eagles. Hearing brings the ball up the floor to Becker. Kraft to Hiltner. Hiltner lays it in left-handed and is fouled from behind by Blake Buer. Shot counts, and they will give him one more shot attempt here. They're going to sub Kraft out and bring Preston Langer back into the game. So you have Becker, Langer, Hiltner, Hearing, and Neiman rounding out the 5. That shot is missed by Hiltner, but Becker is able to steal the ball out of the rebounded hand. Hearing goes for the layup attempt, and the ball is tipped out of his hand by the Falcons. Goes flying wide, and now it is, we're going to call that out on Hearing, so now it's Falcons ball. 3-point attempt by the Falcons. Goes a little bit long, rebounded by the Eagles. Neiman brings it up the floor. Neiman tries to drive into the lane where he's hit pretty hard by 2 players and kind of pushes a guy away from him. I'm surprised they didn't call a foul on either player on that one, or any of the 3 mixed up in that. Falcons look to move the ball around. Blake Buer was going for the layup, and he was blocked by Becker, I believe it was. Becker down to Hearing, or I think it was actually Hearing. 3-point attempt there by Langer comes up short, and Hiltner rebounds, goes for the layup, misses, and then it's rebounded in turn by the Falcons. Short 3-point attempt there by Jorgensen. Hearing brings the ball up the floor. Hearing to the point, where he's met by Jorgensen, who pretty clearly grabs his waist, and that'll call that a foul on the floor. It's now the 6th team foul by the Falcons. Next foul will be for bonus. Becker into Hearing, back to Becker to the point. Becker picks up his dribble, passes it off to Hearing. They look to get something going here. Herring drives through, kicks it out to Langer. Langer for the long three from the corner. And the lefty, drains that three-pointer. Eagles are shooting good today. Last game on Thursday when they were playing Baby E, they hit a couple threes and then kind of dried up after that, and they kind of struggled to get that long ball going. They ended up winning the game, but a little closer than it needed to be as they couldn't quite get those shots to fall. Foul here by the Eagles on the missed layup attempt. So it'll be 2 free throw shots here from Micah Morrison. Misses the first. Kraft comes in for Hiltner. And Morrison will set up for his second free throw. That one comes up a little bit short, both of them to the front of the rim. Becker brings the ball back up. Becker has the ball knocked out of his hands by Jorgensen, and there's a timeout called by the Falcons. Each team is given 5 timeouts. I believe it's 2 fulls and 3 halves. When the Falcons are going to look to try to get something fixed here and see if they can't get themselves back in the game here as they're down by 19 points now. Coach Terry Miller is working on getting them to move stuff around. I've seen Terry coach before. He has a bit of a temper. All right, timeout's over. It's Eagles basketball here. Now we got missed layup attempt there by the Eagles. Rebounded by the Falcons. Move the ball around. Blake Buer from the long three-point out of the corner. He misses that. Rebounded by Kraft, who hands it off to Hearing. Brings the ball up the floor. Passes it off to Neiman. Layup attempt there by Becker, and he is fouled by Micah Morrison, and so he's going to get 2 shots here, Becker is. I'm just going to step away from the mic here. We just have an issue with the color on one of our cameras, and I'm going to do my best to just fix it quick. All right, camera issue fixed. I'm not just the play-by-play guy, I'm also the head technician on our little crew here. And so when we got these little issues, they get to be mine to fix, which interrupts some of the play-by-play, but you gotta do what you gotta do. It looks like the Falcons were moving the ball around, lost control on a passing attempt, and goes to the Eagles now. Herring will bring the ball back up. Herring has the ball, drives to the lane. He throws up kind of a bit of a wild layup attempt there. I think he got bumped, thought maybe he was fouled. And a lot of times when you get fouled like that, if you throw up the shot attempt kind of right as you get fouled, you can draw, you know, 2 shots there instead of an on the floor deal, and I'm guessing that's a little bit what he was up to there, but Jorgensen took a shot there. There was a foul on the floor by the Falcons on the rebound attempt, and so that was 41, Ryan Pickle. And so now we have Hiltner coming into the game for Langer. Hiltner immediately comes up with a rebound that's knocked out of his hands by Jorgensen. Falcons moving that ball around. Pickle backs Kraft down and is able to lay it in. Scores down 27-10. Neiman brings that ball up the floor. 5.5 minutes left to go in the half. Neiman drives, looking to pass it down the lane, but that passing lane was taken away. And then the Eagles have their pocket picked. Blake Buer drives on the floor looking to lay it in and is fouled on the layup attempt. And so he'll get to shoot 2 as the shot didn't come anywhere close to the basket, but he is fouled. Buer misses the first of 2 free throws. And we have Braden Molitor, the 6'2" junior, coming in for I'm trying to see who he had replaced there. I believe it was Langer. Braden Becker moving that ball around. Passes it to Kraft. Brings it to Neiman, who drives down low in the lane where he's met by a couple of players kind of trapped, but he's able to hand that ball off to Kraft. As him and Kraft go back and forth, Neiman takes a shot that's a little bit short. Kraft initially rebounds it, but then has the ball swatted out of his hand by the Falcons. And in the ensuing scrum, Kraft ends up fouling fouling the Falcons player, and we're in bonus now. So for both teams, 8 fouls apiece, and so now he'll get to shoot 1 and 1 here. First one drops, so he'll get a second shot. Scores 27-11, just under 5 minutes left to go in the first half. Second shot is up, and he makes that as well. Cutting that lead to 15 points. Keeping the pressure on now. Neiman brings the ball up the floor. Got Neiman. Langer had just come in, so got Neiman, Langer, Hiltner, Hiltner, Becker, and Molitor in the game. Eagles will call a timeout. Full timeout for the Eagles, as we got 4 minutes and 40 seconds left here in the first half. Eagles have been playing pretty good. They've been coming up a hair short just the last couple minutes, not quite able to get their offense going. So I think Coach Anderson wants to just run through some plays here with them, see if he can't get them back. He said DeRose sitting on the bench here for a few minutes. I'm not sure if he's just trying to give DeRose a little extra rest. I mean, DeRose was their spark plug here early, so we'll see where he goes with the game kind of going forward here. Anderson's got the clipboard out, which is kind of fun to watch, telling everybody where to go and how to do and where to be. And from my vantage point, you can't really see much, but you can see he's definitely drawing plays up and what he wants to have happen. So all right, we are back here. Ball's passing to Neiman, to Becker. Becker setting up the offense here from the wing. Drops it down on the post to Neiman, who's, I think, collapsed on by two players. ACGC runs a 1-2-2 zone a lot, which allows them to collapse on balls into the post quite quickly. Knocked out of bounds by the Falcons. Got 3 seconds left on the shot clock. And Neiman will take the long from the point, 3-point attempt, as he didn't have much options. But it's rebounded by the Eagles as Hiltner goes to go up, is fouled, and he'll get to shoot 2. Hiltner makes the first of 2. They're going to bring Neiman off the floor and bring DeRose back in. Hiltner fires the second one. So now on the floor we've got Langer, Molitor, Becker, Hiltner, and DeRose. Falcons trying to get the ball in down low. And they do. And Pickle is able to drive across in the front of Kraft and lay it in on the right-handed reverse, but he's fouled coming across the basket by Hiltner. And now he'll get to shoot one more after that make. 4 minutes left to go in the first half. As Pickle makes that shot, score is now 29-15. Ball is passed into Caleb DeRose. DeRose brings the ball up the floor. He passes it off to Becker. Becker goes across the point, hands it off to Langer. Langer drives down the lane. He looks to pass it to DeRose. But it looks like the pass is somehow, he loses control in the pass attempt and ends up out of bounds, and it's going to be Falcons' ball. Thought for a minute maybe the Falcons had tipped it, but apparently not. Falcons looking to move that ball in. They pass it down to Pickle, who does his best to drive in for a layup. Misses the first, rebounds his own missed shot, and puts it in for the second. Throws the ball to Hiltner, to Becker, who drives down. He goes to lay it in and is fouled there by Jorgensen. And now 10 team fouls for the Falcons. Terry Miller having a little conversation with the referee, saying that he's not sure that he agrees with the way he's calling some of those. Neiman comes back in for Molitor. Becker makes the first of his 2 free throw shots. Sets up to take the second here. And Becker hits that. Rolls front to back of rim and then falls it. Jorgensen brings the ball up, passes it to Blake Buer. Now back up to the wing here. Jorgensen drives, passes it into Dayton Buer, who goes up for the layup over the front of the rim. And he's bumped there going up and comes up a little short. Neiman is bumped in the low post and goes to take a short jumper and misses that shot. Rebounded by the Falcons. So they look to set up their offense now. They go to pass it in to the post, and it's knocked away by DeRose. And on the drive up the floor by Neiman, he is fouled on the floor by a player. I believe it was Oliver Wesseman, trying to reach it and knock that ball away. So now Neiman will get 2 shots as we're in the double bonus. Neiman rolls off the first one and the ball falls in. Then Neiman goes to take a second shot, and that one rims in and out. Rebounded by Dayton Buer. Ball's moved around by the Falcons. Blake Buer tries to drive down low. Falcons trying to find an opening here. Pass off to Pickle, who tries to reverse. Jorgensen rebounds. That one's missed. Ends up in Pickle's hands, who gets fouled on the layup attempt. And coming into the game now for the Eagles is Caleb Meerhofer, the 6'3" junior guard. Hiltner comes out. Pickle has 1 shot here as he made that layup. That one runs front side and comes out, but Jorgensen's able to rebound it. Jorgensen down low to Pickle in the post. Where he's bumped apparently by Meerhofer. It looked a little bit more like he might have tripped and fallen, but they're going to call that on Meerhofer for the foul. Now the Eagles are in a double bonus, and so Pickle here will get to shoot 2. First one rims in and out. Oh, he'll line up to take a second shot here. That one hits off the back of the rim and bounces free, rebounded by Becker. Scores 32-19, 2 minutes left to go in the first half. Becker brings the ball up the floor, hands it off on the wing to Neiman, who drives down the lane, met by Pickle, but is able to get the stop jump layup where he's been fouled by Pickle on that. Count the bucket and the harm. Neiman to shoot here. Neiman makes that shot. Falcons bring the ball up the floor. Blake Buer met by Neiman in the backcourt. Brings the ball up across half. Drives on the lane. And we got an offensive foul down low in the post by Dayton Buer. And so they're calling that, on offensive you don't get the bonus shots. And so Eagles ball though, however. Langer has a nice wide open look at it from 3. He takes a shot and comes up a little bit off. Driving down low, Langer is. And now they call him for offensive foul as he's backing in the post player he's against. They call him for an offensive foul, and he was kind of backing the player up a little bit. Missed layup attempt goes out of bounds. And so Eagles ball now. Got a minute and 3 seconds left to go in the first half here. Score is 35-19. As Neiman brings the ball up the floor, looking to set up the offense. 26 seconds to go on the shot clock. Passes it off to Becker, who passes it off to Langer. Langer drives down the lane, spin moves. Goes to do a layup and is fouled there by Wesseman. He'll get to shoot 2 on that one, as he's taking the smaller framed Westman into the post here. Looks like as much as he can. Langer's got a good post game. Makes the first of his 2 free throws. And he lines up here to take his next left-handed free throw. There's a couple kids from ACGC in the stands that like to scream on those foul shots. So if you hear that screaming, that's all that is. Falcons look to set up. Falcons moving the ball around. 30 seconds left to go in the half. To Jorgensen, down low to Degman, who tries to put up a layup attempt and isn't able to get it to go. Neiman looking to do last shot here. Brings the ball up the floor. And so now Molitor comes up to set a pick on him. There's 10 seconds left to go in the half here. Neiman looking to get things going. But 6 seconds, or just under 7 seconds left to go here, 6.8. There is a blocking foul on a pick play by Molitor, as he is trying to set up a pick for Neiman. There'll be 4 seconds left here for the Jaguars to take a play. Pass into the key to Dayton Buer, who goes and is able to lay it in to finish off the half right before the buzzer beater. And that will end the first half with your Eden Valley Walk-Ins Eagles up 37-21 over rival ACGC Falcons. We're going to step away from the microphone here for the halftime. Let you watch the 5th graders play a little basketball if you want with the cameras. And we'll be back for the second half. Again, I'm Mike Harrison, and thank you for watching. All right, and we are back with the second half of Eagles basketball. Couldn't talk there for a second. It is ACGC Falcons against your EVW Eagles. Score of 37-23. The Falcons came out and just put up a quick shot there, layup. On the floor for the Eagles, you have DeRose, Langer, who just scored a layup, Kraft, Becker, and Neiman. Same original starting five. Quick shot each way for the Eagles. Ball knocked away by Becker and picked up by DeRose. Passed out to Langer and up the floor quickly for Neiman, who looks to get things going. Neiman passes it out to Becker, who misses on that 2-foot attempt. 2-point attempt, rather, not 2-foot attempt. I meant to say short jumper, and it came out as 2-foot attempt for some reason. Eagles now in defense here. Oh, they were able to get a stop for a second, but ends up, the ball goes and ends up in the hands of a ACGC player. Actually, twice there it happened. They rebounded the ball twice. 2 times in a row had the ball knocked away by ACGC players who got a couple shots off but got no baskets. Quickly down the floor for Neiman on the fast break, who's able to lay it in. Now ACGC looks to get their offense set up. Sitting out on the wing is Westman. Drops it down to Jorgensen, who gets the short jumper to fall. Scores 41-25. 2 minutes gone so far in the second half. Eagles bring the ball up the floor, up to Becker. Becker tries to drive around Wegerman, and he's able to. Gets the layup to go in, where he's contacted with, kind of held a little bit by Westman. And so count the basket and the harm. Becker gets to shoot 1 here. And he makes that 1 count, 3-point play. 19-point lead now for the Eagles. Jorgensen brings the ball back up. Looking to get something going. He's kind of pinned down low by Langer. But he's able to get that ball into the hands of others. Now with Blake Buer, who will take a long 3-point shot, which he hits. Scores now 44-28. The bench of the Falcons getting a little more into the game. DeRose knifes through the center of the key and goes to lay it in, where he's fouled pretty hard there. And now DeRose will take 2 free throw shots. First one rolls forward and in. Hillner comes in the game now for Langer. DeRose makes his second free throw. Ball passed into Buer, who drop steps into the center. And at 6'6" with some air, it's hard to defend that. He's able to lay it up over Kraft and in. Neiman to Kraft, down to Rose on the wing. Rose looks to get set up. Passes it off on the other wing to Neiman, who drives low. He fakes Buer and steps around him and puts the layup in. But a good game for Neiman today. A lot of penetration and able to get their offense going, so he's been able to do a lot. Ball's passed down to Buer, who steps in and lays it in. There's 2 Buers on the court. One is Blake, and one is Dayton. Big size difference, as Blake is 5'9", and Dayton is 6'6". Falcons take a three-point attempt. That's a little bit long, bounces off. Rebounded by both Hiltner and Degner. And jump ball is called. It's going to become Eagles ball. Langer comes in for Hiltner, comes to take a seat. Neiman brings the ball up the floor. Neiman passes it off to Langer. Drops it for Becker. Who goes to bounce pass it to Kraft, but the ball goes off the foot of a Falcons player. And so automatically Eagles ball below the baseline. Passing to DeRose, who kicks it out to Langer on the wing, who shoots a three, which falls in for the left-handed Langer. Falcons bring the ball up the floor. Moving the ball around, trying to get something going here. Number 23, Morrison, lost control of the ball and just tries very hard to get it to fall a certain way. Fast break for DeRose. Ends up, as DeRose running down the floor, tried to lay it in. And he going a little too fast and come up a little late, tried to spin that ball in on the layup and just wasn't able to get it done. Matt Hearing comes in now for Neiman, who they're going to give a breather to. Dropped in the post to Dayton Muir, who goes to lay it in, comes up short. Ball is fought over there by DeRose and Braden Johnson. And it is a jump ball call. Goes to the Falcons. Layup attempt by the Falcons that comes off, but rebounded by them. Sitting with Dayton Muir right now, who drops it off for Morrison. 3 seconds left on the shot clock. Now 1 second when the ball is knocked out of bounds by the Eagles, but there's 1 second left on the shot clock. Essentially, Falcons have to catch the ball and put it up almost immediately. And they're not able to do that. Eagles bring the ball up the floor. Turnover on time clock violation. Becker drives the ball down, tries to lay it in left-handed, it's just a little bit off. Brings the ball back up the floor. Ball is picked away by Hearing, who was sending it out of bounds and threw it up in the air as a catch for all for everybody, but it was tipped by DeRose to another member. Becker with a three-point attempt there. A little bit hard. Rebounded by the Falcons. Ends up like a loose ball. Ends up in the hands of Dayton Muir. Was able to put it in for a short jump shot. Rose brings the ball up the floor on the wing. He drives down against Jorgensen. Losing control of the ball for just a second, picks it up, passes it back out to Kraft. Swings it around, Becker now will drive, kicks it out to DeRose in the corner. A three, he's just a little bit strong on that three-point attempt. The layup attempt by the Falcons is off and rebounded by the Eagles. Langer now has it, taking a deep three. Just off on that long three. Hit the front of the rim and rolled a little left. Falcons moving the ball around, trying to get something going here. Jorgensen has the ball knocked away by Hearing on a beautiful diving play. What an effort play that was by Matt Hearing. Wow, what an effort play. Ball was crossed to the middle, passed to the middle there, and Hearing made a diving play at it and knocked the ball away. Gets up off the ground, runs the ball down, grabs it, fast breaks, does a beautiful reverse layup, and is fouled in the process. That was all effort there by Hearing. What a tremendous play that was. Hearing will take a shot. Now you've got Hiltner back in the game, and DeRose is taking a seat. So you've got on the floor for your Eagles is Becker, Neiman, Hearing, Langer, and Hiltner. Score is now 56-34. Eagles stretching that lead slowly. Jorgensen tries to drive the ball down low. There's a foul on the floor against Jorgensen. On Neiman, they're calling it with a holding penalty, but they're calling it on the floor before the shot. So that's a second team foul for the Eagles. Falcons pass the ball in. Pickle takes that shot up. Rebounded by Hearing, who quickly outlets it to Neiman. Neiman drives down into the corner. Passes it back to Hearing, who now is driving in against Jorgensen, and who fouls Hearing on the free throw attempt. There's a third foul on Jorgensen. Hearing will get 2 free throw attempts here. Hits the first one. Hearing lines up to take the second shot here. And that one rims in and out, rebounded by the Falcons. Jorgensen with a 3-point attempt that he makes. Neiman takes the ball up the floor. Pick set by Hiltner. Passes it off to Hearing into the post to Hiltner. Hiltner goes to do a drop step and go up, and he's fouled there by Victor Medina. The Falcons fans disagreed with that foul and are protesting it a little bit, in case you couldn't hear that. And Hiltner gets 2 shots, makes the first, lines up for his second. That one is a little bit hard. Hits the back of the rim and rolls left. And Hearing there ran in on a pass attempt, and there was a bit of a foul there. There was a bit of a bump together. And they didn't call a foul on that. There were some fans here that thought maybe they should have, and then as Hearing drove down off of that attempt, he was fouled on the shot attempt, so he'll get 2 free throws here. And Terry Miller is quite upset, yelling at a ref, trying to get things sorted out. He's quite upset. So he's got to be careful, the coach there. If he gets a little too much yelling, then he'll get technicals. Of course, you got to plead your case. Let the refs know how you feel about what's going on, but also got to be careful too. You go too far and start impugning the judgment of the refs too much. It never works out in your favor. But he's able to express himself without getting to that point at this point anyway. We got an offensive foul on White. And so now it is Eagles' ball. And Eagles will bring the ball back up the floor here. Hearing brings it up, passes it to Neiman. I think what they're trying to do is, as you start to get behind in a game like this, things can get a little chippier as you're trying to do stuff. And I think what they're trying to do is stop the game from getting too out of hand here. I mean, they've been pretty heavy on the foul calls all game, but it definitely is going in the favor of the Eagles right now, as the team fouls are now 8-2. think Jorgensen just fouled out of the game. He's played a pretty good game, pretty aggressive kid, has a good shot, but the fouls did not go in his favor. They've been calling this game pretty tight, so Kraft had gotten fouled on that last rebound and layup attempt, so he'll get to shoot two, misses the first one. So now Kraft shoots the second. That one comes up a little short. Almost rebounded by Hiltner, but it's picked up by Pickle. Falcons moving the ball up the floor. Blake Buer gets down low. Can't find any space. Kicks it back out to the three-point line. Oh, that's a foul is on the floor by Braden Becker. As they call that, I think, a holding call. Probably could have honestly gone either way. That I believe it was Micah Morrison was running pretty hard into one of the other team players and could have been called a charge, I think, but this time it wasn't. So fouls on Becker, but Falcons look to get something going, positive momentum. Blake Buer shoots that up, rebounds long, rebounded by the Falcons. Hilder is able to get that second rebound. Neiman takes it back, who passes it to Becker, who goes to lay it in. He was fouled pretty hard there by Pickle on the layup attempt. So that is the fifth foul on Ryan Pickle. And so Ryland Pickle, sorry, not Ryan, Ryland Pickle. So now he's out of the game. There's two players fouled out now for the Falcons. So Becker will get to shoot two here. That one, in my opinion, was a pretty, I'm hearing that the fans over here carry on with the rest, but in my opinion, that was pretty cleanly, or I should say not, it was a clean foul, but it was very obvious foul that one was. So Becker here lines up to take the shot. He misses both. Almost rebounded by, it is rebounded by the Eagles. Loose ball scrum. Ends up with DeRose, who takes a three-point shot. That's just a little bit strong. Bounces out off the back of the rim. Becker is able to get the rebound and drive it in and lay it in. Scores now 61-37 for the Eagles. 8.25 minutes left to go in the second half. ACGC moving that ball around, trying to get something going. And Neiman's able to steal the ball away, where he is fouled by Braden Johnson on as he was trying to dribble away. He reached in and tripped him. So that is the 10th team foul now by the Falcons, as the fouling is kind of getting out of hand here by them. And I would say other than one or two, they're pretty obvious. So Neiman has his first shot go in and out. We're in the double bonus now. So he has two shots. Neiman lines up to take the second one. And he makes that one. Falcons bring the ball back up the floor. 62-37 here. Throws on Westman. Ball's kicked out. Ball's being swung around here by the Falcons. They're going to call that one on Neiman. Now, Coach Anderson's disagreeing with that foul call, calling it offensive foul. But it's two shots here now for Victor Medina. the second one falls in 62 to 38. Hearing into DeRose. Hopefully they can get the teams to calm down a little bit here because it's getting a touch chippy out there. Players getting upset, but happens sometimes in blowouts. And so now you can hear quite a bit of things being called here. So now there's a foul from Falcons again by Micah Morrison, who hits Neiman on the team foul. That's now Morrison's fourth foul. Neiman makes that one. There's a second one here. Fouls are, I mean, it's got to be 12 or 13 now to 4. It's become a pretty rough game here, which is never fun to see in high school ball. Part of fouling is part of the game at this level. It just is. Kids are aggressive and things are going to happen, but this is probably going to touch extreme. But as long as things stay clean, Hearing's able to pick the ball on that one. And there's a Neiman is on the fast break as he drives down, and he's not able to get a layup attempt as he's being ahead of a person on each side of the ball, fighting for that, and but he's able to throw the ball backwards into the feet of one of the Falcons players, which ends up out of bounds, and on the ensuing pass and play, Becker's able to get the layup. Falcons looking to get set up. They have been really struggling against the pressure by the Eagles. That ball's thrown away by the Falcons. Going to be Eagles ball. DeRose into Langer. DeRose brings the ball up the floor. It's met there by Blake Buer. DeRose looking to get something going here as he drives down to the wing. Looks to pass it in down low to Langer. But Langer is able to get a layup attempt there. And then Langer gets his own rebound and puts it in again for his second layup. That was a much cleaner defense, but they weren't able to get that rebound. And so now it's Eagles got that layup. On the reverse layup attempt, Hearing defends the reverse layup, and they call a foul on that one. So Blake Buer will get 2 shots here. Hearing didn't like the call, but Anderson was letting him know, just don't worry about it. Let it be. It's not worth it at this point. And so it's now 68 to 38. Buer makes the first and then makes the second. Eagles ball, brings the ball up the floor. Hearing will bring it up. He's got 4 fouls. Hearing drives down to the left. Goes to pass it across. And that ball gets away. And ends up going almost to the half, but DeRose is able to track it down, get it, where he is fouled kind of quickly by Buer. So now DeRose will get 2 shots. Buer makes that one. It's always a hard thing when you're in a game and your team is down and you feels like the fouls are going against you. It feels like everything is going against you, and eventually it starts to almost feel that way, which can be really tough to go through. And so I definitely have a little bit of empathy for the fans, but I think the refs have done a pretty good job on these games. I used to ref high school basketball quite a bit, and so I don't want to say anything about how I'm good or anything like that. I've done it. I know how hard it is to be in that spot and make the calls and do the best you can and do what you can to have that be clean and call as fairly as you can, and sometimes that's tough to do. And so I think the refs have done a good job. And they just literally let 2 calls both ways probably go that they could have even called fouls, and they didn't. They were just trying to see the game get done as the Eagles move the ball around. Becker drives down the lane, tries for the left-handed layup. Yeah, it's a little bit off. Misses, comes out. Falcons ball the other way. Lake Bureau take a three-point attempt here. It rims in and out. And Langer with the rebound. Passes up to DeRose. The Eagles bring the ball up into the offensive zone. DeRose makes a shot. Now it goes off to the Falcons, who pass the ball down low in the post and lose the ball. Hearing drives down the lane, is able to get that one in. We have a timeout call by the Eagles here, and I'm going to, in the honor of Joe DeRose, who, like I said, calls the games when I'm not calling the games. We kind of split the duties. He loves to give an inspirational quote, and I've got one for you here. And there's a lot of stuff going on in the world today, especially in the state of Minnesota and all over, and I'm not going to go down any political thing at all on this, but I'm going to give this inspirational quote by Carrie Ann Moss that says, "People tell you the world looks a certain way. Parents tell you how to think. Schools tell you how to think. TV, religion. And then at a certain point, if you're lucky, you realize you can make up your own mind. Nobody sets the rules but you. You can design your own life." And just a thought for all of us to stay objective and open, being kind to one another, showing genuine love and compassion to each other and empathy. And in this new year, I wish the best for each person listening. Well, my name is Mike Harrison. We do this with River of Life Church, River Youth, sponsored by them. And we get to do these streaming services for the Eden Valley Watkins Eagles, football and basketball, men's basketball mostly. We did a couple girls games now, last week and this week, in the doubleheaders. And it's been a blessing to do, a joy to do. And so still learning a little bit on how to do it all and call games, but it's a lot of fun. So we got my son Ben running cameras today, and my wife Christy running the switcher and the scores. And it's a lot of fun to do. So we appreciate you tuning in, and we'd love to hear any thoughts you guys ever have. And if there's anything you got going on, we'd love to hear. And so in the game right now, they brought in number 15, Eddie Kramer, who's a 5'10" sophomore. And we had a jump ball there on a three-point attempt by Kramer. And it's Eagles ball on that. And so now Eagles are moving the ball around. Hearing to Hiltner. On the floor right now, we got Kraft, Hiltner, Langer, Hearing, and Kramer. Ball is stolen away from Hiltner by Morrison. 2.5 minutes left in the game. And now Hearing will bring the ball up the floor as Morrison's able to steal it away and get a fast break for a layup. Eagles move the ball around. I think they're trying to slow the clock down a little bit. Burn off a little bit of time. Hearing has the ball, 16 seconds left on the shot clock. Passes it off to Kraft, but then hands it off to Langer, who's now going to drive as there's not much time left on the clock. Layup missed by Langer. Rebound and layup attempt by Kraft, and then the miss, and the rebound gets knocked out of bounds by the Eagles. So now it's Falcons bring the ball up with 2 minutes left to go in the game. Score is 74-46. And Medina goes to lay it in, and he comes up a little bit short on that layup. Rebounded by the Eagles. Hearing now looking to set up, drives baseline, kicks it out to Langer, who takes a three-point shot that is pretty far off. I think it actually caught the Falcons off guard and hit one of their players and went out of bounds. So it's now Eagles ball on the baseline as the Eagles look to bring in. And I had to look way down my sheet on JV player, Landon Berger comes in for Langer. The coach looks to get a little bit of additional play out of him. Hiltner goes to lay it up, but he's blocked by Morrison. And Morrison's able to get the rebound off the block, and then Hiltner fouled him. Falcons bring the ball, minute and a half left to go in the game. I would say the fouls have definitely slowed down for the most part. I mean, there was a foul there, but it's been a little calmer. We have another foul by Hitler there on the shot attempt by Dayton Buer. That's 5 fouls on Hiltner. So now they'll bring him out of the game. And they bring in number 43. Oh man, I gotta find him on the sheet here. Actually, don't see him on the sheet here. Well, they bring in number 43. And I apologize. I am not sure the name of number 43. Okay, well, I asked the camera operator, who's my son, who goes to school here. Number 43 is Nate Ingram. Okay, they got him marked as 54 on here. So he's 43 today. Nate Ingram. That's rebounded by Kraft off of the... There is a minute left to go here in the second half. Up the floor quickly by Morrison. Ingram contests Morrison on that. Dayton Buer tries to dunk that. Comes just a little bit off. That rebound trying to do it. Herring brings the ball back up the floor. 45 seconds left to go. Kramer's moving around. Passes it off to Kraft, to Herring. We have a timeout and 2 subs are brought in. That'll be Avante Body and I'm trying to see where the other player went here. Number 0, but they don't have 0 marked on the sheet here, so I will ask my son here in a second. And that's Connor Lang is number 0. They have him marked as 2 on here, so. And now Kramer will bring the ball up the floor, dribble it out. That is the end of your game with your Eden Valley Watkins Eagles winning 74-50 against the ACGC Falcons. Great game played by the Eagles. They were able to stay aggressive, be aggressive, get things going. What a game by Herring. Some real strong effort plays there. It's been a pleasure to do this. We are going to be doing this again on Friday night at 7 o'clock against Holdingford here in this gym. And I've been told one of the best players in the state plays for Holdingford, so that should be an interesting game. So tune in on Friday night for your Eagles versus Holdingford. And again, this is Mike Harrison with your Eagles basketball. Have a great night. God bless.